What's going on, guys? And welcome back to episode 83 of the Offshore Gamescast. I'm Dave, and I'm joined by...
Dylan, it's me. And I'm joined by Lyle.
That's me! Hello!
Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. That's very fun to be here again.
Lyle, who are you?
I have Taylor Swift in my head, and when you guys say it's me, I can't help but hear, but I'm the problem.
I don't listen that much to Taylor Swift, so I cannot answer that, but I am Lyle. I am from Lyle's Indie Corner on YouTube. I do reviews and top 5s of indie games. If you're interested in that, come watch me. I do great stuff. Pew pew.
Do it. She does great stuff. Pew pew. Speaking of reviews of not indie, I finally finished that Harvestella review.
Woohoo!
OffshoreGamescast.com/reviews. You can read it there. I did a written review. I didn't do a video this time. I felt inspired. Also, Dave, you got a review coming up soon.
I do. We were able to get a little review code for Season, A Letter to the Future, to which I've been able to start it so far, and I am very excited to continue through it. I love this narrative sense that it's got going on, and I have some high hopes for it.
We'll touch more on that later. Before we jump into the games, please, if you can, well, you can. I know you can. It's totally free. And if you're listening to this, you have the ability. You've gone this far. Please leave us a review. Leave us a rating. Follow us on social media, on YouTube. Follow our podcast. That helps us a lot. Please. I beg of you.
Please.
Please. Oh, that was so sad. That was so sad.
Yeah,
We are very sad today.
All right, let's talk about video games.
Somebody.
Lyle, why don't you start us off?
Sure. I finally finished Gerda, A Flame in Winter. I've been playing that for, I think, like close to 4 weeks and never got around to finishing it. They describe it as like an RPG light. So it's a text-based game, no voice acting or anything, and it has some RPG elements, but they are very, very, very light. It's set in the final months of World War II in Denmark, that is currently occupied by the Germans. And you play the nurse Gerda, whose husband gets arrested by the Gestapo, and then you have to make some very, very tough choices on how you want to save him, if you want to get involved with the resistance or the occupiers. And this game does not hold a lot of punches when it comes to the subject matter, which is definitely a consideration that people need to take into account when they play a game like this. I found it very, very compelling. As a German myself, that is a period I know a lot about, but I'm always interested in finding out more, getting different perspectives on it. It has an incredibly beautiful art style taken from Danish Impressionism. So it's very watercolory, very soft, not any sharp edges or anything. The animations are very crude in a way that it's nothing like it's an indie game, so there isn't a super lot of money behind it. But I really, really liked it. The writing was a little bit, it was okay, but it wasn't quite where I would have wanted it to be. So there was no crying, which is how you all know that I now rate games. My crying meter.
The amount of tears that come.
Exactly.
Is this one of those things where they use, say, that sort of not fully fluid animation to like kind of play into their sort of like narrative and like storytelling in a way?
Yeah, there isn't really. So how it works is mostly like a point and click. So you run around, press on stuff, and then you either talk to people or you look at something, and then the text you usually just have character portraits talking to one another. So it isn't like you don't zoom in on them and then you have facial animations or anything. It's really just character portraits that talk. And there isn't a lot of animation in that. So
I mean, it's almost kind of like what was it? As Dusk Falls, sort
no,
of
no,
like
no, no,
that.
no, 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 no. It's not like you have different frames. It's really just a top-down perspective, and you walk around with your little character, and then whenever you get into a conversation, you have character portraits popping up, just like in an RPG, really. Like when you have, I don't know, Pillars of Eternity or something. When you go into conversations, you just have the little box at the bottom where the text appears and you have the character portraits that talk. It's more like that. So not like a BioWare 3D RPG or anything.
Nah, the
It
shit's
was
frozen.
no. Yeah, I mean, yes, it's set in winter, so shit's frozen.
Well,
So
It
I
was a
assume the
very, very
RPG
intense game.
that you're not like the RPG is just like making decisions essentially, right?
It's
That's
making
really
decisions, and
okay.
you also get like different traits. So Gerda can get compassionate, insightful, and witty, I think.
Okay,
And
so it's
then
like an old school RPG.
yeah, and then you have like chance persuasions.
Oh
So
yeah.
you
Okay.
get like the
Yep.
dice roll, and yeah, and then if you succeed, it's great. If you don't, then it's not. And there are some very tough decisions to make here. So the game really does not want you to be able to do everything in one playthrough. It really makes you choose which path you want to go down. Um, and that can get very heavy, deciding who you want to save and who might not be saved in the end.
how long is the
Especially,
overall game cycle?
I honestly don't know. Let me look at how long it took me. I'd
Because
say
if it's
like
something only like
6 to 7 hours, I think.
okay, because if it was more of like a 4 to 5, it would probably have more warrant to say run through a second playthrough to try to do something a little different, save somebody else.
You can, once you finish the game once, you can go back and do it day by day. So you don't have to do the whole game again.
Oh,
So
so
it
you could
has
just kind
like
of pick
a
up from a certain
chapter.
point. Like, what if I
Exactly.
did it this way from? Okay.
Exactly. So it took me about 7 hours. It's about 7 hours long.
Hmm.
Yeah. Very,
Cool.
very good, but very, very intense. So be prepared to play a game like this.
But no
Okay.
crying.
No crying, no. For that,
Have you?
the writing wasn't quite where it would have needed to be.
I never finished it, but do you ever play Valiant Hearts?
I never finished that one either, but that did actually make me cry about 2 hours in.
Okay, because I'm curious between those, because I know that one's also getting a sequel soon. How well that handled the subject material compared to something like this?
I think both do in different ways, since Valiant Heart focuses more on like frontline action.
Mm-hmm.
This is really more about how this war impacted civilian life in a rural place in Denmark, and how this community of both Danish and German people was torn apart, especially towards the end of the war. And yeah, that it's overall, I think, war stories about that go more for like, this is how it looks for, this is not a soldier
Mm-hmm.
glorious soldier story. It's really about the civilian life and how this war impacted everyone that just wanted to live their lives, and that no one was really spared the hardship.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's
There
cool
are
though.
there are a few historical facts always sprinkled in, so you can read up on those. Those are very fun and very interesting to me, especially. And yeah, Gerda, Flame and Winter. I can definitely recommend it if you are interested in the Second World War.
What would you give it out of 10?
This one, I think 7.5.
Okay.
If the writing had been a bit better, then it would have been an 8.
You should have 2 scales. So you got the 7.5 out of 10, and then 0 tears.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah. I can do both. I will do both in the future.
But you're gonna have to start
Lyle's
counting how
gonna
many
score it at 20.
tears.
What?
You have to start counting how many tears come out.
Oh god. Okay. Oh no.
You'll
See-
have like a shelf. You'll have your games. You'll have the physical, and they'll be facing outwards. And each game will have one jar in front of it, and it is the collection of tears from that game.
An idea. I will consider
It's
it.
You're walking into
I think
the
it'd be
house.
totally
all
normal.
This box of clinking. It's like, Lyle, what are you doing? Be like, there's a game coming out next week. I'm just preparing.
Well, I'm going to use that to transition to my game because it's also an old school RPG.
Yes.
Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition. I started this last night playing co-op with my girlfriend, and I've been dancing around this one for quite a while because I love, character building. I love those hard decisions you have to make in a game. I love all that. The kind of like turn-based, more sorry, grumpy gamer guys, tactical strategy. I don't know what the difference would be. It's something. That type of gameplay is never. That's usually not something I go towards. So I've been dancing around this for a bit. We decided last night, just fuck it, let's do it. So not too far in, we got through like the whole opening tutorial, which if you want it to take a long time, it can take a long time depending on how much you're walking around and exploring. But basically, you're on this boat. You get your slaves, or basically, they put collars on you, so you can't use magic. You're a sorcerer. They don't like magic. And then someone broke out of their collar and used magic to make things explode, which attracted a giant monster with tentacles that destroyed the boat, and then you wash up ashore. An elf licked my arm at one point.
Mom.
Because that so in the Divinity world, you can, if you're an elf, you can taste or eat flesh, and that will give you the memories of that person.
So hot.
So like, I found that my girlfriend is playing an elf. I don't think she actually ate the limb, but I picked up someone's limb, and I just put it, I transferred it to her inventory. It's like, if you want to eat that, you can have their memories. Which
did she do it?
I don't think so. If she did, she didn't tell me. She's very secretive about it.
She's just there gobbling up people, getting XP.
Yeah, but she's very quiet about eating people.
Yeah, she's too busy having her like fucking flashbacks, so she's just staring off into space and just realizing what we just did. And you're like, hey, what if we go to this tavern and maybe we'll get us some fruit?
So
she's dealing with the reeling of an entire country's downfall
and eating flesh.
Yeah, well, she does that anyway.
Oh yeah, of course. Normal American.
It's not
stuff.
Cannibalism if it's not your race.
Huh. That opens up that's a door I don't want to walk through.
Each generation of human, each generation is just a different vintage.
Oh no.
All right, we're closing the door. We're gonna open another door.
We have a very tender boomer today, Steak, if you would like.
All right.
Graveyard Keeper. That reminds me too much of that game.
Yeah. Where this is basically D&D. That's what this is. And I really, really like the way it handles co-op. So we are playing on the same console, so it is split screen. But it works fine because it's not like a crazy action game where you need to like see your whole environment at all times. When it's combat, it does become like one screen, but that's because it is like turn-based. The combat is just like D&D, so you have a certain amount of ability points per turn. Moving and how far you move uses ability points. Attacks use ability points. Pretty much anything uses ability points, just like D&D. It's kind of like the character role-playing aspect where I'm really enjoying it, to where we can both go completely separate, especially now that we're off the boat and kind of like in the world. We could just go completely separate. We're not doing that, but we could if we wanted to. And there were certain characters on the boat that she talked to and I didn't, and certain characters I talked to and she didn't, that like the game remembers that. So one of the people, well, it's actually a lizard, it's a lizard person, washed up ashore that was also on the boat she talked to. So like she continued that conversation, and they already have this like kind of past
Rapport.
experience. Yeah, like he remembered her, but not me because I never talked to him. And you can have like just completely different experiences because of that. It also like it does share an overall quest line. So whoever initiates a conversation with someone is the one doing the talking. And you can both just have like completely separate conversations going on at one time. But if I'm like doing a quest, for example, and I choose a dialogue option that advances that quest, it does advance it for both of us. But you can do the thing where if I'm trying to do a persuasion check, I'm trying to persuade someone in a quest line and I fail, she can then separately go ahead and try that persuasion check because I talked to them, tried to persuade them, and it failed. And then she can roll up and be like, all right, but hear me out. And then she can try to persuade them. But then if she fails, then that's it. No persuasion.
Can you try to persuade him, and then she'll come up behind him with a knife behind his back, and then he'll be like, I'll do anything.
Not quite like that. I don't think there's a threaten button, but you can, it appears you can attack like anyone or anything.
You can also steal from anyone or anything.
Yes, that was that one of the okay, so you played this.
I played the first one for
okay
a few hours, yeah.
Like
she was
stealing
heavily considering
sheets from a
stealing from the lizard
mattress.
person. Because
stealing what?
I don't know. Actually,
His
they were also a
lizard house
prisoner, so
keys.
they probably had nothing.
His lizard socks.
I don't think he had socks. I didn't have socks. I didn't have
His
shoes.
collar.
Yeah,
Have you gotten his collar?
His lizard
we still
collar.
got collars. No, I don't think we could get the collars off, or else we would have done that.
Yeah, I mean,
so
fine.
But that's all I pretty much did. But it's really enjoyable so far.
It's a big game.
It is.
Yeah, that was also something that was kind of like this one's supposedly a doozy of a game. There's a lot of content.
I put maybe half an hour to it, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, and there was just no way
you
I
remember
had
the
time or
boat then?
commitment. Oh, well, yeah, but it's also been a few years. But I did start this game a while back and barely
Did you
did
get
much
licked
with
by
it.
an elf?
I mean, not in the past 6 months.
I mean, it also, I do kind of enjoy the aspect of having separate conversations, because I was like, an elf just licked me and told me some of my memories. And then she was like, oh yeah, that lizard guy says I'm his slave now. Because he's like a prince or something.
Well, that could go many ways in that
Yes.
in that
That's
combination.
fun.
But yeah, it's, if you like role playing, if you like D&D, I think you will enjoy this game. But
yeah.
I'm not exactly saying anything new, because I know this has had very high reviews for, when did it come out? Like 2017, 18, around then.
Been
I want
a
to say even
while.
earlier.
Well, it has very good reviews. I know that.
Yes, it do. Is this one is Pillars of Eternity the Obsidian one?
Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah, this is not Obsidian.
One. This is something with L.
Yes, it is. I don't remember what it is, but it is something with L. We have the power.
Lacerations.
Larynx? Something like that.
Larry!
Not Larry. Larian.
Larian. Right.
Lawrence.
Not Lawrence.
Oh.
Larian.
Larian of Arabia.
Sure. All right, Dave, what have you been playing?
I beat a game.
Okay.
All right, cool. Lyle, what else you got?
I beat it. I beat a Dead Space last night.
The Dead
How was it?
Space. I cannot do.
Ah!
I cannot do that. I
You
shouldn't
have
try.
to.
No.
It's so good. If I mean, there's been so much conversation about how well the original still holds up from 2008. This game, man, this game is like should be like the what I don't know what the word is, but like the rubric. This game should be the rubric for what other remakes should be, because it just checks like all the boxes. The lighting is amazing. The gameplay is all brought up and at least modernized in some places. They fixed the narrative. The anxiety is pretty much consistent throughout. And everything about it is just so much better. This game needs to be cherished, and they gotta. I mean, with how well this game was done and how the reception has been, it seems like Motive is going to probably start getting right on track with Dead Space 2 remake, and hopefully in the future make 3 better than
And then
what it
4.
was. I mean, that would also be cool. I haven't watched it in years, but now after finishing it, I want to look up Dead Space Aftermath and watch that again, the little animated movie.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Me
It was.
neither.
I want to say it was made through Sci-Fi Channel, to which they have also made
okay.
They've if I'm right, I know for a fact Sci-Fi has made about a 1 hour adaptation live action of a Red Faction thing.
Oh, I'm sure it was great.
It wasn't, but
Uh-huh.
it's a thing. But I still wanted to see it. But I think they just did so perfect with Dead Space. Like this is one of those where it shouldn't be $70, and even with the EA Plus or whatever, I got it for like 62. But for a $60 game, if this was a base one, I think this is more than worth it for the quality and what was put in. If Dead Space 1 was $60 back in the day, this is more than competent enough to have everything to make it worth that price, to the point where I was very tempted to immediately jump into New Game Plus mode right when I was finished, just to do more. Because at the end of it, they're like, hey, here's another suit upgrade that you have to get and 50,000 credits.
There's also a secret ending if you beat New Game Plus.
Oh, is there?
Yes, I
That's
don't know what I don't know. I don't know Dead Space things. This is my first experience with Dead Space, but I read that.
There's I have the temptation to just throw it on story difficulty and just like book through it, just doing everything, because compared to the original time I played it, leading up to the ending of this one, I had much more of a want to go and like re-explore some of the older locations. So like I'll open up my map and I'll look over at Emily, I'll be like, this place has a 1 goddamn clearance room. We haven't fucking been there yet. I've had like level 3 clearance for like 2 hours. Like, what the? Are you serious? And I'll be walking my way down, and then a thing will pop out, and I'll get really mad at it, and then I'll kill it, and I'll be like, fuck you. And I'll keep walking my way down, and I'll walk in, and I'll get like one more clip of my pulse rifle, and I was like, that was worth it. Let me just continue back and like walk my way down, because especially I think they did a really good job, as long as you're doing enough resource management where you're going into that thing where it's like, I'm very comfortable with how much ammo I have. Fuck.
Yeah.
That was a boss fight. And then we're building it back up. There wasn't necessarily a time where I found myself, compared to what I think of a Dead Space 3, where I have no health, no ammo, and I'm backed into a corner and there's nothing I could do. In this, there's always felt like there was something I could do to, like, even not something that I felt like I had to do. It's just like, I want to go explore this. Oh, look at this. Much more resources. Now I'm comfortable and set up for this next thing. I think...
Is this the Dead Space game, or is it one of the later ones that has the constant, like, oh, this monster you can't kill is chasing you all the time?
That's this one, and it's not constant. It's definitely more segmented.
Okay.
It probably takes up... Think of it like... think of it, I would say, like Jack in 7.
Okay, so it's just... Okay.
He's there for a decent segment of the game, he's not there for that segment the entire time, but he will, in certain circumstances, really make a hindrance to what you're trying to do. But you can kill him. It gets to a point in the narrative where you do take him out before the end of the game.
Okay, I could deal with it in segments like that. It's just like the Resident Evil 2 mansion thing or the
That's
police
too much.
station. I want to be able to explore this police station without constantly being followed by this giant dude in a top hat.
Yeah. This is more of like the Resident Evil 3 where like he just kind of comes in and he does this thing when he has to. I will say, based off what I remember of Dead Space 2, ooh, he comes back, and there's some moments of Dead Space 2 that I remember.
Did the third one end on a cliffhanger? Because I have no idea about Dead Space, since you were
So
talking about Dead Space 4.
the Dead Space 1 and 2 basically follow a decent consistent story. 3 is where it really shifts off. You're kind of on like an asteroid or another planet, and it's a co-op game, so it's you and another person have the ability to go around, and there's more necromorphs and there's other stuff going on. But that is the only Dead Space game that I have yet to beat. I think I got to like chapter 16
Okay.
out of 18, and ever since back then in the
Oh.
day, there's like this long sky bridge corridor, and I have no health, I have no ammo, I have nothing, and when I walk down this corridor that is covered in windows, I have necromorphs pop up in front of me at the end of the room, behind me at the end of the room, and through the windows surrounding the sky bridge, and there is nothing I can do. So I've been sitting there, and I probably
Good.
restarted this game 3 times overall and have not progressed to even that make it to that point. So one day,
Okay, I see.
yeah.
But sounds like a very, very, very good remake.
Oh, it's pretty much it's almost perfect. I mean, down to like the ending and like its fantastic conclusion. Even like those cutscenes that really build it up are brought down to a T. It's been like 13 years since I played the original, but I still remember this one panning shot of like the ending right before like the final boss fight, and I'm getting excited and I'm getting very nervous as it's like leading up to it, and because I just know how big of a spectacle that this whole thing has been leading up. And I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 overall. It's just it. Remember when Control came out and people were
Yes.
just praising it because it's like this just feels like a video game. Like I'm just having fun.
Yep.
I
Yep.
feel like in this Dead Space, it's the most in the past, I'd say, few months or at least maybe even a year where I've been able to sit down with a game and almost just kind of say fuck it and just have fun with it. I'm not pushing myself. I'm not doing anything. I'm just like, I want more. I can't wait to play another hour. Like it's exciting. Like I'm having fun with this game.
I have that feeling about a game we'll talk about next week.
Oh, I know. And
Foreshadowing.
I need to finish that game myself.
Um,
I'm gonna be too busy fucking coming and nutting when goddamn Hogwarts comes out. I'm gonna be bursting on the goddamn walls. I'm gonna be expecto patronuming all over everybody.
That was very aggressive again, just like last week.
Oh, I can get so much more aggressive.
Dave is like the epitome of aggressiveness. He gets so aggressive, you just have to sit here and just, yep,
aggressive
this
happiness.
is happening.
Accio fucking nut, give it to me now.
All right.
Accio nut.
If magic in that sense was like real in this world, people would be doing crazy shit like that.
If you think you can just do something by saying eat slugs, wonder what else you could eat.
Oh God! All right, back to Dead Space. We this is a good time to talk about it. We ran a poll across social media on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook about which was better, essentially, Dead Space remake or the Callisto Protocol.
Oh,
it was pretty heavily in Dead Space's favor. It was 87% across all 3 platforms voted Dead Space over the Callisto Protocol.
I'm
would
curious.
Have surprised me if it had been any other way.
Yeah,
I'm curious if I played Callisto first, knowing how good Dead Space is in general, if it would have made it even better, or if playing Dead Space first will somehow like plateau and like level out Callisto Protocol for me. Because like I've already gotten my fix, so I'm not as hyped, but I still want to play Callisto Protocol. I just don't want to be disappointed,
I
which
will
I'm
say,
assuming.
Nave from the Gaming Together podcast, our buddy Nave.
Shit.
Jesus. I know it's very exciting when we talk about Nave over here. You don't gotta start throwing your mic.
I can't help it. I feel its energy flow through me.
He responded and said that there are different games with similar aesthetics. Callisto is a horror third-person shooter. Dead Space is a third-person shooter horror. Which he followed, if that makes sense. And
I think
no,
it
Nave,
does.
I don't. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I haven't played Callisto because I don't have a full opinion, but I'm just gonna go with a maybe on that one.
I feel like a lot of people have said that the horror in Callisto was so predictable
Yeah.
compared to the Dead Space one, so I can totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say that.
Imagine.
I mean, I said last week, this game isn't scary. I don't get scared when I'm playing Dead
I-
Space. Like, I'm the one who sees those running through the vents or like a quick flash, and I go, okay, all right. It's when I'm like face to face and I'm running out of ammo where I'm like, all right, I don't like this. This is where I'm getting. But those jump scares do nothing.
I in the 45 minutes I played of the Dead Space remake, I was considerably more frightened from the Dead Space remake than I ever was in Callisto.
Mm.
Like Dead Space had, I think I talked about it last week, that moment in like that little closet with the vent that shot open, but then nothing. Like that was, I was backed in a corner with my gun out, just like, where is it? What's happening? Like actually, like kind of scared. Where in Callisto, anytime that happened, I would walk into a room and you could literally just look at the environment for 2 seconds and be like, all right, jump scare from there, enemies popping out of there, and you were right 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm. You could say the same thing for Dead Space. I feel.
Disagree.
This is your first time playing through. I've technically beaten the game twice.
Well, then there's the difference.
Okay, so Dave and I have been playing Season: A Letter to the Future. So Season is a very, very chill game, kind of in the spirit of Abzu. Oh no. Oh, okay. Kind of in the spirit of Abzu or Lake. And this game really, really wants you to take your time with it. So I think that's even in like the introductory screen of the game, that they really ask you to go at this at your own pace. And when I started it, I was kind of in the mindset of, I want to play a game. I really want to explore stuff and see stuff, record stuff. And that was not the spirit I should have gone into this game with. So the first hour, I was very anxious all the time for something to happen, and then I laid it down and came back and was finally in the right headspace of, okay, I'm just taking this slow and just going through this world, exploring. And that was a much better time. And I encourage everyone to really go into this game with like, okay, I'm just gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna play it for however long I want to, and can put it aside whenever I want something more exciting. But
I would probably say it has much. It has that a very strong similarity to Sable, in that sort of way.
I
So
haven't played Sable, so
you start off and it's basically someone going over this journal of the main character that has been logging everything leading up to this big climactic event called the season, to which everyone is still trying to figure out what it is. And in Sable, it's more so a compacted version of that Breath of the Wild, where it's like, what's that over there? I'm gonna go check that out. So when you get on your bike and you're going through, to which, can we just take a second? I love the bicycle physics, or how it goes. You hold.
it's a very sturdy bicycle. It can go over
it's-
anything.
It's fun. Well, so you're normally you're just holding onto the bike and you're walking with it, but then you go to hit L1 or L2, and then you'll hop on the bike, and then you're clicking R2 and L2 back and forth to like pedal and like try to get yourself going, and then you can start coasting. It's very fun,
I
like
had the
way to.
easy control zone. I just went.
Oh no, I mean you can hold forward on the controller to like move, but I'm also like boom 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 like trying to push myself in. Oh hello.
Holly came down to see you.
Ooh, kitty cat.
And then so you're basically going on your bicycle in these like map sections, and in that sable of like, what's this? You will pull your bike over, get off your bike, and then you just start looking around at things. So like you pick things up, you collect things, to the point where it's like it's very much so a relatable thing for me because I love just the act of logging information, and like I like how their brain thinks of as they're going through like, oh, mom's making breakfast right now. These are the things that are happening in this moment as I'm writing them that someone will read, but as they're reading they know what's happening in the moment that I'm writing them. And so like they're going around, and you can go and pick up souvenirs and put them in your little scrapbook so you can make it your own, and you don't have to pick up everything. Like you could just leave some postcards and whatnot just chilling. What do you want? What's your opinion?
Yeah, this game has a very, very. The theme is definitely about the death of an era and the rebirth or birth
No,
of a new one, and you just kind of try to preserve history for the next generation. Yeah, that's kind of where
That's what the picture tape is.
what the season is. So
Okay.
the season you are living in is ending, and you are trying to preserve your season for whatever comes next.
We're
And
waiting for our
that's
asteroid to fall and wipe out all of our dinosaurs.
yeah, they don't know what it is. Yeah, exactly. They don't know what it is, but they know that it's ending. So and that's just kind of the whole theme of the game, and that's actually where my favorite quote that did actually make me tear up, not kidding, came in, where there was a character, you don't even see them, they are on the phone, but they are saying like, I'm so excited for it all to end, and I'm so excited for it all to begin. And that, I don't know, that just really got me, because it's such a metaphor for life in general, for the different seasons you as a person go through. And yeah, like the world that has changed so much for our generation in the last couple of years as well. So
You're living through your specific stage of life, and you're
yeah.
trying to record it for the future. You're having this letter, to which I think of that I have my journals. I have my happy and my sad journal of good and bad times, and I like to record shit, and I keep that right by my bed. And the way that I think about it is the way that I think of it is in the same sort of thing. Nothing matters. We're all gonna be fucking dust one day. At the end of our
Not
lives,
me.
nothing is gonna matter. Shut the fuck up. You're a bitch.
I
Nothing
don't
matters.
end. I am eternal.
That is going to be terrifying. If this world has a sort of dictatorship where you're the leader, everyone is going to have diabetes covered in cheese. Like, it's going to be bad. I
Sounds
mean,
great.
I'll be there. I'll be there
Wonderful.
too. I'll be full. I'm so pissed. Connecticut doesn't know how to make a fucking cheesy cheddar burger. That's a different conversation. That's a different conversation. But anyway, I'm gonna be dust one day, and so I look at these journals and I think to myself, like, someone's gonna come across them, and I want to like translate this story for them. Like, one of the things I love is how relatable to some of the things I feel are in this game, and especially down to those like, one, the art style is fucking gorgeous as you're riding your bike through these picturesque scenes. It is stunning. And when you get to those sort of shots where there's really no dialogue or spoken thing, you're just kind of sitting there and you're seeing your character like sitting up against a wall, just kind of looking out, almost in like mid thought. And I can't help but see that as me, and I'm going on my journey. And it's like, I feel like compared to some of the other games like Wayward Strand and etc. that focus so heavily on other people's stories, the fact that this is almost your story and experiencing that is where it really picks up my attention.
Yeah, that was pretty much my experience as well, because I really Like the whole time when I stopped playing, there was always a moment where I was like, okay, this is just a metaphor for life. And then you start just recounting your different seasons throughout your life that you have had, and that's really where this game comes in. There are a lot of very profound quotes and thoughts. They can sometimes flip over into a bit of pretentiousness, in my opinion, but that's really mostly when I stopped playing and gave myself a rest and then came back, and then it wasn't as bad anymore. I think if you hear, I don't know, 20 profound thoughts in one sitting, it at one point just tips over into, okay,
Yeah.
I got it now. But yeah, it's a beautiful game. I was really surprised by the more kind of fantastical NPC designs that the game has, because I didn't expect it. I don't think I've watched a trailer where that was shown, so that really took me out for the first time that happened. But you get used to it very, very fast, and it's just extremely beautiful
In
to look
in
at.
in what way are they?
I feel like it's very like, what I have never watched a Ghibli movie, but like those types of character designs, it just took me out for a second because I didn't expect a fantastical aspect to this story so much. But once you get used to it, it's really just, it belongs in this world and it belongs in this game. It works.
One of my favorite things is like early on you come across the one guard or the cop who's looking over the gate as you're going through, and compared to other games, I mainly going off of this like game's general theme and setting of like you're going through this transitionary period, all the people that you come across, they're not just like for example, this dude is here blocking this gate. He's not just like oh fuck you, I'm a cop, I'm here to do my job and I can only say 2 lines and like you can't come back here. He comes over and he's like, ain't this shit kind of fucked? Like everything that's going on here, it's like damn. And like I'm not expecting him to be like, I'm a cop, go away. He's sitting here
Then
and I'm expecting him to see like, man, like I wonder what I'm gonna have for dinner tonight. Like I have some leftovers. Like shit. Like a lot's going on. Like that. It's so real, and that's the shit that I love about it.
That sounds cool.
To
That
the
sounds immersive.
yeah, I mean, he's also there to convey the story of the place you're going to. So,
yeah,
but it is, I really like that interaction because it was so awkward at first
it
when
was.
he
He's walking
came out.
over to his car, and he's just like, you know, I probably shouldn't be doing this, but you know what? It doesn't really fucking matter. It's like, you know what? Just go. Like, you know, go look. You know, be. You know what? You go be the storyteller. Go figure it out. Like, you know, do this. I'm gonna figure out dinner. You know.
Yeah, it is. I really like that too.
I thought that was really cool, and I'm excited to see what more it has, especially because I feel like as the game is going to progress, even very slowly, progress-wise, but very fastly, I'm just going to put myself more and more into this character's shoes and just have it be me riding my bike. What color bike did you choose?
Blue.
Blue. So did I.
I like that.
And
It's
yeah,
a good game.
I have finished it, and I'm not quite sure. Maybe one of you knows. Does this game have different endings?
I don't know. I have not seen anything on that.
I'm not sure. It definitely seems like it has the potential to, even though whatever main narrative beat it needs to hit is going to happen regardless. But I assume that there'll be some sort of like at least variances for players while coming to
Yeah,
the same major conclusion.
there's one decision that you have to make towards the ending that I feel like it should have different endings. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm curious to know once you've completed it, what your ending was.
A lot of times when it comes to some of these games that come out that we can get reviews for, like Wayward Strand is definitely one of those that was definitely not up my route as fully, and I was a little nervous because I was afraid that this game was going to fall roughly around the same way, but I've absolutely just gotten hooked up and I'm fully into it. Because I probably started it maybe half hour after I finished Dead Space last night. So a little bit of a palate cleanser and just a little. I was just like, I've been saying to myself I was going to start this game for days, and I've just been busy, and I want to just finish Dead Space, but I didn't want to stop last night. Like I got to a good point to like finish off the night, but I wanted to keep going.
Yeah, it is a beautiful game, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Dead Space
And
into the season is quite the transition.
Yeah, that I can imagine that was very jarring.
It's one of my better gaming transitions back from when I was really mad at Shadow Warrior 3 and thought it'd be a good idea to throw an Elden Ring for a bit. That was one of my worst gaming transitions.
Yeah, no, that's
Mhm.
not what you should do.
Yeah.
Especially old Dave.
Oh yeah, no, old Dave did not have a V8 that day.
Do you drink those?
No.
All right.
This is just another one of those instances where I say a reference and I know for a fact you're not going to get it, but some of our 30 listeners is going to hear that and go, and then just move on. Like that's all I'm looking for.
I'm really glad that Lyle, so far, you kind of have like the same expression I do when Dave says shit. I'm just like, okay.
But
yeah, which
I
just
know what
means
that
can,
is.
there's 2 times now that I get twice as angry.
but I can just say I don't get it because I'm German. So
Oh, I don't get it because I live in my own little bubble. That's me.
Yeah, your bubble. I gotta pop that shit, man.
No, I love my little bubble.
Gyllenhaal over here. Let's see.
I'm Bubble Boy.
Either.
I got that one. I know that one. I've seen that.
Fuck,
All right.
Akio reference.
Let's move on to news. We got a lot of things shutting down or being delayed. That is kind of like this whole news cycle this week. So
yeah, you
starting
remember
off,
when PlayStation was like, "Hey, we want to have like 14 live service games coming out by like 2025 or some shit."
yeah.
Yeah.
well.
All right. Apex Legends Mobile and Battlefield Mobile are shutting down. Apex is shutting down May 1st. Battlefield, no date yet, but they have said they're not working on it anymore. EA CEO Andrew Wilson gave a few reasons for Apex, basically saying the game didn't translate well to mobile, it wasn't retaining casual players, and it's a challenging mobile market where there's already established games in the space.
And you know
I
what
feel
was
like a lot of
fucking
people could have told
established
them
in this
that.
space? Apex was established in this space. And like you fucking idiots, like it just take everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually very I'm surprised that they are doing this because the mobile market is so big and there's so much money to be made there. I'm surprised they are giving up already, honestly, as EA.
Well,
maybe they have something else going.
He did say stuff that like they learned a lot, and this is not like
Blah, blah,
Apex
blah, blah,
Mobile
blah.
is not. Yes, but he hinted at the fact that like Apex and Battlefield very well could be coming back to mobile in some form. I know that they
Okay.
like partnered with Tencent and stuff to get this to happen. So I think some of the speculation was like, hey, they're trying to distance themselves from that and kind of do it on their own moving forward. But we'll see. People are not happy with Apex in general as a whole, and it feels like they haven't been for like a couple years now.
EA's dumb. EA's stupid. EA bitch.
Truth.
Yeah, EA, lots of problems. We're going to talk about EA a couple times.
Marvel Snap has its battle mode out. This came a lot sooner than I was expecting. It is a new PvP system where instead of going against each other for cubes, you basically have 10 health, and you're kind of going through a few different rounds, going back and forth, trying to take out whoever to get to 0 and win. And I'm waiting, Dylan. I'm waiting to kick your fucking ass.
Oh, you will. I haven't touched that in weeks.
I just the one of the annoying things is that I get it. The battle mode is only here to battle specific people, if you want to play the game, you kind of just have to go and play the game. But there's no like random option to just like do the battle mode with somebody. It has to be like I'm gonna create a lobby and send a code to the person I want to join.
Oh, you can't just like
It's
join
not just
battle
like
mode and play against.
no.
Okay.
It's when you go to hit join and it's like enter in the lobby number or whatever. I'm just like,
Okay.
Dylan's busy right now. I can't.
Always. I'm always busy.
When it
Yeah.
comes to Marvel Snap, I'm always busy.
When it comes to Dave, I'm always busy.
Oh,
That's what they tell me.
Yeah, I have my people tell his people that.
that's a good way to communicate in a friendship.
It's perfect. Yeah,
yeah.
Mhm.
it's healthy.
All right, and we have Sons of the Forest. They are not delaying their game, but they are now bringing it out in early access instead of a full release. And apparently, they still want to add so much more, but it isn't finished yet. So they are doing what they did with the first game and just release it in early access. I was also surprised to hear this because I thought it was set as an early access game, but it wasn't.
I thought it was too. Like, I thought
Yeah.
that was the whole shtick of it leading up to whatever full release, but I guess they can do whatever the fuck they want now,
Yeah.
as they have.
They have said that now they can have feedback from the community, but honestly, I think they just didn't finish.
Probably not. If a game comes
Well-
out and it labels itself as early access, it's a good 5 years out. So
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my thought as well. It's still coming February 23rd, though.
okay.
It works for them the first time.
Exactly.
Why not do it again? All right, we're back. We're back to things dying. Remember that PlayStation Plus collection? So launched with the PS5. It had like 20 odd games on there of like the PlayStation hits from the PS4 era for free, as long as you were subscribed to PlayStation Plus. That's dying. So May 9th, it's being taken away, but you can still claim them before then, and as long as you stay subscribed to PlayStation Plus, you will have full access to them in your library, able to still play for free. So get on that if you haven't played those. It's like, the first God of War, like not the first, but the first of the new God of War.
Mhm.
Detroit Become Human. I want to say the first Last of Us is on there, not like the remake, but like just the first Last of Us in general. All the PlayStation hits. And there's some third party games. I want to say like Mortal Kombat is on there, or Injustice or something. Yeah, things dying.
Because apparently someone at EA thought it was a good idea to cancel a single player Titanfall Apex Universe game. And this probably goes back to how I felt when they decided to cancel Prey 2. There's just some people in leadership positions who are just working with a loaf of bread in their brain. I don't know how they expect to make money or bring smiles to people's faces if they're canceling things that people want and have been asking for. I loved Apex Legends for the 6 months that I played it. But do you see me sitting here for the past 4 years asking for more Apex Legends? No. I want Titanfall 3. Give me a new Titanfall. Stop it. EA has been voted the worst company twice. And at
Wasn't
this
it
rate, they're
also
going to get
in
it
a row?
again. It
was in a row.
And they can't do anything. Like, I'm more upset about this game not happening than Skull and Bones actually happening.
Oh wow, so you're pretty upset then.
Yeah, because people Ubisoft wake up and they're like, I got a great idea, and to which that wavelength hits me in the head and I'm stressed out all day because someone at Ubisoft thinks they have a great idea. And then EA comes out and they also think they have a great idea, and I'm over here like, this is toppling the absolute government and the hierarchy of everything that's ever existed. Do you think canceling this game is going to be good, but you're going to put out all these other games that no one cares about? And fucking, why do you want to go out of business? Ubisoft, why do you keep putting out bad games and sexually harassing your fucking coworkers? What is wrong with all of these people?
Yeah. That was what, didn't EA have a problem with that, or
All these companies do.
No, it's
They're
Activision.
dumbasses.
Activision
They're all
Blizzard.
these,
Activision big time, yes.
Yeah.
yeah, they're fucking dumb. Put them in the dungeon. Give me 7 horses, and I'll strap them to every part of their body, and I'll rip them apart, and we'll load the next one on. And then they'll slip out of their ropes, and then I'll have to buy new ropes from Lowe's, and then I'll come back and I'll reattach those ropes, and we'll keep pulling them apart until I get my prey too.
Oh wow, you're gonna
That was
kill a lot of people.
that was a roller coaster.
Yeah. I'm also trying to think of what's like. Okay, so 7 horses, right? You're ripping a person apart. You got what? I can think of head, arms, and legs. That's 5.
Maybe we just don't go there.
Yeah, we don't go into the yeah,
Penis
you're probably
horse.
right.
Yeah,
Penis
I knew that
horse.
was gonna come. Oh no.
Well, at first I was
Yeah, let's-
thinking one singular penis, 2 legs, 2 arms, and 2 ears.
Yeah, Knockout City servers are shutting down too.
Perfect transition.
They are also probably torn apart by 7 horses. But they are shutting down the servers on June 6th, and the 9th season will be their final season. The real money transactions are being removed on February 28th. So if you want to buy anything from the store, you still can until that point. They have said they are putting out like XP boosters and stuff, so you can get all of their cosmetics with the in-game currency, apparently. And per their statement, they feel very sorry for shutting it down, but doesn't seem like it was beneficial to them in a monetary sense. It feels like maybe also a little bit more work than an indie studio can fathom.
You know,
But yeah,
it's
It's a
It's one of
cool
those
idea, but
things-
no one gets home from school and goes, "Hey guys, you want to play the dodgeball game?"
like that's what I was like. I was gonna give them credit for at least doing it. Like it's not just like another battle royale shooter, right? They at least
No.
try something a little different. But it just increasingly these live service games, like, do you get one that manages to stick around here and there?
yeah,
But
they
for the
also
most
did
part-
the blah 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 of we learned so much and maybe
Yeah, it's a big one.
yeah.
It's
And-
people can develop whatever they want for anybody, and anyone can have interest in anything. But if we Family Feud 100 people and we ask them if a dodgeball live service video game is a good idea, I think the general amount of people will say no.
To be fair to them though, they probably did not have the marketing budget to really have
No.
any survey of that sort. They are
You
a very
can
small
get
team.
a live service dodgeball game as much as you want, but no 20 out of 20 people is gonna go. You could have that shit being in the sky, beam that shit down from the ISS. No one's gonna go, I do want to play dodgeball live service game for more than 30 seconds.
To be fair though, that applies to a lot of games, I feel like, and they still are successful. So
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get. That like I do give them credit for at least trying something different.
Yeah.
Like, it was not,
But as long as they put in the fine print, we know this is gonna die in about 7 months.
they
You
did
see-
it for 2 years.
it's oh wow, it's been that long already.
Yeah, it's been 2 years. They said in the statement at least. So
If this is just catering to me, I feel like, but if they came out with like a dodgeball focused single player story game, I love that. I've Dave knows the rants I've been on. Sports need more single player story games.
Well, here's half the problem: is that these developers get into a room and one of them goes live service, and everyone starts jumping up and
Yeah.
down, and that's when fucking like cats start dying. It's no one. When was
Yep.
the last live service game that not only worked but worked off the get go and didn't take 8 years to get to where they needed it to be functional?
Apex.
That thing has gone so far downhill since it started.
It has a lot of problems now, but that did launch with like that one stuck around, or I guess Warzone was after Apex, right? So
I
that's
it, it
probably
I feel like that goes into its own category because, of course, if you put out a live service shooter game, every 13-year-old is gonna jump to it. Not
Marvel
every
Snap.
13. No, that's
Fall Guys.
there. Fall Guys is a good example. Something like that. You can't just pick like a card game because that falls under the thing. A shooter game falls under the thing. You do all these other stuff like Avengers live service game. No, that's gonna die so
Yeah.
fucking fast. Then to which it is. Bye September. It's dying. Like those kind of things are gonna die. You put out something like Apex, yeah, it's gonna do the thing because 90% of people want to shoot shit, and that's all you really need.
All right, The Last of Us Part 1 is delayed, but only a few weeks. It's from March 3rd to March 28th. The usual, polish, get it ready, avoid crunch, all that stuff. That's it. That's it for The Last of Us Part 1 on PC.
All right.
Did I specify PC?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's it.
It's coming. As of this morning, Randy Pitchford, he's shooting the shit. He's flipping his fingers. He went on Twitter to say that basically they're done with reshoots and final shoots for the Borderlands movie, and it's heading into post now.
Whoop whoop.
I'm so nervous.
Is there any hope of this being an okay movie?
No.
No,
But
I'm looking
I'm gonna
forward
watch
to this.
it.
Great.
I told Emily, I said, I know you're not going to be happy, but you're coming with me day one to see this movie in theaters, and you are going to listen to me complain every 30 seconds, but we're going to watch it.
Date night.
Oh, it's date night she'll want to forget.
Weren't they doing reshoots of the Borderlands movie? Wasn't that a thing with another director?
I don't know about another director, but they finished like any extra reshoots they needed to do. Like as of today, like they're done. It's going into post and editing now.
Okay.
It's gonna be fucking bad.
What is probably also going to be super bad, at least in my opinion, is Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
I love it.
That was delayed from March 17th to April 28th.
It's gonna
And
be a
I
good
just want to
game.
say I love the first game, but since this is being delayed now, I don't have a lot of hope for the second one. But I'm still going to play it because Star Wars.
I think the second one's gonna be better.
You think so?
I think so.
I hope so.
I think they're gonna fix whatever issues that people complained about the first one and to make this better. I think this is gonna be a Last of Us 2 situation.
Oof.
That's a jump.
Yeah, that's a daring comparison.
I think this one's. I think I enjoyed the first one, and I think people loved it and went crazy to the point of making it overrated. But I think this one's gonna be better.
I hope so. Your word in George Lucas's ear, who's no longer responsible for Star Wars, but
we all know George Lucas is there making this game just on his own.
Yeah, exactly. Just sitting in his room, typing away. Definitely.
If something comes out he doesn't like, he ribbits so loud that it bursts the eardrums of everyone who's worked on Star Wars.
Oh, I think he's over that. He got enough money for it.
All right, that does it for news. Dave, go ahead and take the notable game release because it's going to be, I'm sure, a lot of shouting and yelling. Yeah. Wow, what an anticlimactic start to that build-up.
Coming February 10th, but February 7th if you're a rich man. On 2023, Hogwarts Legacy is releasing on PS4, PS5, Xbox, Xbox Series S and X, Switch 2, but that's later on, and PC. It's coming out April 20th on later. If it doesn't fucking matter, this game is coming and it's exciting. It's gonna be coming, and I'm gonna be killing so many fucking kids, and it's gonna be great. And I'm gonna spend all my time, and this is gonna be the Hogwarts podcast, and I'm gonna have so much fun.
Wow, the character is gone.
Yes.
I was gonna ask who the character was, and it slowly just became Dave again.
I want to stay up all night. I want to. I want to snap this so bad. I
Oh,
want to
No!
get
don't! What? Why
no,
would you do
Do
that?
not do that.
because it's the other one. I need another one so I can snap it. So it's a prop.
Calm
Don't do it.
down.
Yeah, that
Calm
sounds-
down. Do not destroy something you will regret later. Oh my god, this is a workout. This has gone into workout. No,
Don't-
no,
don't.
no, no.
Yes!